And I'm not a very old person. I'm almost 30. I'm getting old, but I'm not that old yet. But even I have experienced this in my short tenure of life. You have this idea, and maybe you were trying to plan a family vacation or a honeymoon or something like that. Not saying that's my deal, but maybe that was your deal. You were trying to plan something. You had it all figured out. You had the hotel booked. You had the activities planned, and you're casting the vision to your family or to your team, and you're saying, or maybe you were in charge of the family reunion or high school reunion or something like that, and you're saying, here's what it looks like, here's what we're going to do, and all of a sudden you got a little bit of pushback, and your son was like, Dad, I don't think we should go golfing every single day, or I don't think that we should go to the golf course on every single island. Maybe we should make a break on one day, or maybe your spouse was saying, honey, since we're going to be in this area, we might as well go to the outlet malls. I mean, what's it going to hurt? We might as well do something like that, and you were like, what about my perfect plan? I had a perfect plan, and you started getting some pushback, and there was a little bit of misalignment, and that happens to everybody. It doesn't need to feel bad about that. That happens. It happens in family, happens in your workplace, it happens in the church, and and a lot of times it doesn't happen on the front end. A lot of times it happens during the implementation stage of the vision. So you're executing action plans, and you're doing this, and you're doing that, and you hired that person, you spent this money, and all of a sudden, in the midst of the project, you feel a little bit of what is best captured in the word sideways energy. And so you're moving this way, and all of a sudden there's this little pull to the right, or there's a little pull to the left. And this person over here, this group of people are kind of having their own agenda and their own plans in light of the vision and the direction that you thought things would go. It was a teenager that's lost their head, or it was a person in your junior high boys class that is pulling things aside, and that kind of misalignment, that division and that disunity can oftentimes kill a vision. It's kind of like a car. I don't know if any of you have ever driven cars that are a little bit out of alignment. I know I did when I was growing up, and in Roby, I would always do most of my driving on the back roads because I wasn't 16 yet, and so I was on the back roads driving my truck, and there would be a little bit of misalignment and this little bit of pull, and if you weren't careful and if you didn't try to keep it to the left, all of a sudden you'd end up in the ditch. That's what happens to a car when it's misaligned, and the longer you go without correcting the issue, the worse it gets. And the longer you go on a team or in that family dynamic or at that workplace, when there's misalignment and it's kind of crooked, the longer you go, the worse it gets, the more wear and tear it gets on the team, and the more damage it does to the vision. You've been there. I've been there, right? It's been there in the family. It's been there in your workplace. You've probably experienced it in church. Misalignment, disunity. And nothing kills a vision faster than disunity. Vision, God's will, that thing you're after, you're saying, this is what God wants in my marriage. This is what God wants in my finances. This is what God wants in my family. Nothing will kill that agenda, which God is wanting, faster than disunity and misalignment. So it's very important that we understand how to promote alignment and how to discourage division. And we're going to see that in Nehemiah chapter 5.